in the cold, silent depths of the North Atlantic, where the ghostly remnants of the Titanic lie in eternal slumber, a peculiar phenomenon has begun to intrigue historians, oceanographers, and those who dare to explore the forgotten wreck. Amidst the rusting corridors and the skeletal remains of once opulent decks, there are whispers of movement, subtle, almost imperceptible motions of objects, long thought frozen in time. Among these spectral shifts, the discovery of hollow garments, meticulously preserved and eerily animated, has cast a veil of mystery over the sunken Leviathan. The first encounters with these garments were recorded by deep-sea explorers equipped with the latest remote-operated vehicles, their cameras piercing the darkness, revealing a scene that seemed almost theatrical. Luxurious coats, evening gowns, and tailored suits, once symbols of wealth and societal status, now float or drift slightly, as if guided by an invisible hand. The initial assumption was that underwater currents had caused these subtle movements, but repeated observations suggested otherwise. Some garments appeared to pivot gently, as if responding to an unseen presence, tracing ghostly patterns along the broken decks and through the corridors of the ship's ruined cabins. Researchers initially dismissed these movements as optical illusions or the effects of sediment shifting over decades. Yet, as more detailed footage emerged, the patterns became unmistakable. A crimson evening gown, heavy with fabric once adorned with delicate beadwork, swayed in a slow arc within the grand staircase, a space that had been the centerpiece of elegance and spectacle. Nearby, a tailcoat, hollow yet perfectly shaped, rotated slightly near a collapsed column of the first-class lounge, as if rehearsing a dance long forgotten. The garments maintained their structural integrity with astonishing resilience, resisting decay in a way that has baffled marine biologists and textile experts alike. Intriguingly, the movement of these garments appears to follow no discernible logic. Sometimes they drift with the faintest underwater current, yet at other times they defy it, moving counter to the flow or halting mid-motion. Some researchers propose that the phenomenon is related to the microbubbles emitted from the ships, rusting metal, which create minute hydrodynamic forces. Others, however, speculate on a more enigmatic explanation, that these garments retain echoes of the people who once wore them, trapped in some inexplicable resonance with the tragedy that unfolded nearly a century ago. The garments themselves are a testament to the opulence of the Titanic's first-class passengers. A pale blue silk gown, embroidered with silver threads and intricate patterns, seems to float in a gentle rotation near a collapsed section of the grand ballroom. Its form remains astonishingly lifelike, as if the figure who once wore it were momentarily invisible but still present. Nearby, a gentleman's three-piece suit hovers near the grand staircase railing, the fabric stiff yet supple, cufflinks glinting faintly under the submersible lights. The preservation is remarkable, defying expectations of textile decay in saltwater environments. Scientists suggest that the unique conditions of the deep low temperatures, minimal light, and oxygen-depleted water have combined to create a perfect, albeit eerie, preservation chamber. Historians have begun to study these garments not only for their craftsmanship, but for the silent stories they seem to tell. Each piece hints at a life abruptly interrupted. A mother's shawl drifts near the children's playroom, suggesting the tender domestic moments lost to the sinking. A captain's uniform, adorned with brass buttons and insignia, lingers near. The bridge, a silent testament to duty and leadership cut short. The garments, hollow yet unmistakably anthropomorphic, provide an unsettling, almost cinematic tableau of the lives that converged on the ship's final voyage. Beyond the aesthetic and historical intrigue, there is an undeniable sense of the supernatural that pervades the sight. Deep-sea cameras occasionally capture fleeting, almost imperceptible shadows flitting near the drifting garments. Shadows that vanish when approached more closely. Crew members and divers report a persistent feeling of being observed, as though the hollow forms of the garments are conduits for unseen presences. The psychological impact of these observations has been profound, leading some to reconsider the boundaries between physical preservation and the imprint of memory on matter itself. Advanced sonar and LiDAR mapping of the wreck has further confirmed the unusual dynamics at play. Clothing items do not merely drift randomly. They seem to traverse the decks in subtle arcs, often following pathways that mirror human movement patterns. A corset floats up and down what was once a grand staircase, echoing the motion of an ascending passenger. A formal hat glides from one side of a corridor to the other, tracing a line that mirrors an imagined bow or tip of a head. The precision of these movements, though slight, has led to the suggestion that some form of residual energy or memory persists within the materials themselves, a concept that flirts with the metaphysical and challenges conventional scientific understanding. The preservation of fabrics in the Titanic wreck is in itself a remarkable anomaly. Cotton, silk, and wool typically degrade rapidly in marine environments. Yet these garments have endured, retaining both form and texture. Microbial analysis shows extremely slow decomposition rates, but the garment's ability to move or adjust their position suggests a phenomenon beyond simple preservation. Some researchers hypothesize that the interplay between trapped air pockets, water currents, and rusting metal forms a system capable of generating minimal motion, yet the complexity and coordination observed exceed what could be accounted for. By these mechanisms alone, cultural historians have begun to interpret these garments as living relics of a society frozen in tragedy. They represent not just the fashion and status of the Titanic's passengers, but the frozen echo of human narratives, the hopes, fears, and social rituals abruptly severed. A wedding dress floats near the crew quarters, suggesting love interrupted, while a velvet cloak drifts through the first-class smoking room, evoking the elegance of evenings spent in conversation and refinement. Each garment, while hollow and devoid of flesh, embodies a story that continues to unfold beneath the waves. The haunting spectacle of moving garments also invites reflection on the nature of memory and loss. The Titanic, long a symbol of hubris and tragedy, now offers an intimate, almost ghostly window into the lives it carried. Observers note a profound emotional response when witnessing the subtle dance of these hollow clothes, a mixture of awe, sorrow, and curiosity that transcends the purely intellectual. The garments, in their silent persistence, challenge viewers to confront the lingering presence of history itself. Efforts to document and study the phenomenon have escalated, blending cutting-edge technology with human observation. High-resolution cameras, robotic manipulators, and 3D scanning equipment allow for detailed monitoring of the garment's movements, while sediment sampling and water analysis aim to understand the environmental factors influencing their behavior. Even as science strives to demystify the phenomenon, there remains an element that eludes explanation. The garments appear, at times, to engage with each other, drifting in formations that resemble social gatherings or patterned interaction, as if the fabric itself recalls the human choreography of the ship's former occupants. The mystery deepens, with the realization that the garment's movement is not confined to a single area. From the upper decks to the lower holds, from the staterooms to the grand staircase, the hollow clothes are dispersed, yet seemingly aware of one another's presence. Some observers liken it to a silent ballet performed across decades, guided by rules unknown and energies unmeasured. Each dive into the wreck site reinforces the eerie consistency of the phenomenon, compelling explorers to reconsider their assumptions about the finality of death and decay. Despite decades of exploration, the Titanic continues to reveal secrets long thought buried. The hollow garments, preserved and subtly animated, stand as one of the most enigmatic discoveries. bridging the realms of history, science, and the unexplainable. They remind us that beneath the ocean's surface lies a world where time slows, memory lingers, and tragedy leaves a tangible trace. In observing these garments, we confront the paradox of human existence. Our creations may outlast us, yet retain a pulse of life, a whisper of presence. That challenges our understanding of reality itself. As the submersibles retreat and the lights fade into the darkness, the garments continue their silent voyage. They drift, rotate, and sway, undisturbed, a spectral echo of elegance and human ambition. In their hollow forms, they carry the weight of stories, of dreams abruptly severed, and of the inexorable passage of time. For those who witness this phenomenon, the experience is transformative, a haunting reminder that some vestiges of humanity resist oblivion, lingering in ways that defy logic and inspire awe. In the end, the hollow garments of the Titanic serve not merely as artifacts, but as living conduits of memory, suspended in a liminal space between history and the unknown. They move and breathe with a rhythm that science struggles to explain, a rhythm that recalls lives once vibrant, hopes once cherished, and an elegance once celebrated.